Okay, moviegoers, we have a new reboot on our hands, and Jon Hamm is taking over Chevy Chase's iconic role of Fletch. Confess Fletch hits theaters September 16th, so make sure to check it out in a theater near you. I am so excited to talk to you guys today, but I have to start off by saying thank you because whenever I told my sweet, sweet father that I was doing the interviews for the Fletch reboot, this man, I've never seen him so proud of me in his life. Like, it was like I won an Oscar. So I just want to thank you two in general for making this movie. It's such a cult classic. And I'm curious, Jon, I know you've actually said you've watched this movie more than any movie in your life. So what made you specifically want to work with Greg on this project?
Well, there's a couple things. Yes, I like a lot of people in mine, and I'm assuming your dad's generation really. This movie was a big touchstone for them. Most of Chevy's career was a big comedic touchstone for people our age, and that's a testament to his uniqueness and his incredible talent. But what I really wanted to do when given the opportunity, when the rights to the rest of these novels, and there are 10 other novels with Fletch as the main character, that I had read when I was in my teens, what I really wanted to do was get it back to what the tone of the novels were. The original film is sort of a one-off, even though they made two of them, but it's kind of a one-off in its tone, and it's very Chevy, it's very 80s, it's very synthesizers and Harold Faltermeyer and voiceover. It has a lot of these things that are kind of signposts of the 80s and work really well for that movie at that time. But what I knew Greg, having worked with Greg before, and what I knew Greg could bring to this was almost more of kind of a free-flowing kind of jazz vibe to this whole thing that I thought could really work tonally for a new iteration of this character that can hopefully be, we can tell the rest of the stories of the books, because there are so many more of them. So it was definitely, as you say, like really rebooting, re-examining what the core of this character and this franchise really is. And we're at a moment in time, I think, where whodunits are very exciting because they have answers, and when people break the law, they have consequences, unlike seemingly the real world that we live in. So it's a very exciting thing, I think, for people to sit communally, to laugh, to follow a story, and to have it be resolved at the end of 100 minutes, and resolved in a comedic way and in a successful, satisfying way.
But that just is a testament to how many people love this original film. So I was curious, were you guys nervous about doing it? I mean, were you fans of the original in the first place?
I was for sure a fan of the source material, and the Chevy Chase era, Fletch. I was a Chevy Chase fan. Like, you just go, Three Amigos, and but to have an opportunity to be a part of something that can have an opportunity to do something different with the source material. I'm talking about the books by Gregory McDonald. That's something that you can't say no to. And I think, if anything, it's probably one of the safer bets when we talk about reboots, because the source material is just so clear cut that to me it's as tailor-made for Jon Hamm as it was for Chevy Chase.
True. And to give it a kind of modern sense of comedy and what's happening in the world now is just really fun to be part of the Fletch universe, which we're hoping expands.
Oh, it will. It definitely will.
Fletchiverse.
Yeah, the Fletchverse. Yeah, for sure.
I hadn't heard of them, so I definitely did my research when I got the audition, and I watched the original, and I thought it was amazing. However, I actually watched it after I did my first audition, because I don't like knowing if I already don't know. That's how I go into anything. And also, this isn't meant to be a remake. It's meant to be a reboot, like you said, and it's a whole new different world. You can't replicate what they did in the 80s. You just can't. That's okay, because this is also a reboot of the novels that Gregory McDonald wrote. And there's so many of them, and there's so many universes in which it can play. And so obviously there's a little bit of nerves regardless. Whenever I jump into any project, you're always jumping into a new thing, and you have a big responsibility to do its service, to do the story justice. But this was at the same time a new world. And I think Jon, being the producer in this, he was very clear about that. This is not, when it's not trying to be that, it's trying to be a whole new thing, and updated and new for this world that we live in. And that was a really fun thing to do.
I think one of the great things about the character of Fletch is that he is someone that you want to see in many different situations.
Yes.
And he's a timeless character. So, I think that it's not a matter of redoing something that was done before. It's a matter of taking that character from these books and putting him into modern times, putting him into different current situations. And, he's such a great character that way. There's just so many ways to go with him. So I was quickly, everyone thought that in the beginning. I think that's your first sort of thought. And then I think I was quickly pretty excited when I saw it.
Well, speaking of the cast, I mean, all of you are hilarious. You're all comedians. I just want to be there on set and just picture you guys like improving. I mean, Annie, if I had to stand across from you during that kitchen scene, I would have broke. There's no way if I was Jon Hamm.
I was cracking up when we were doing the dinner scene. She was walking in, and that was a complex scene to shoot. And we were like, Greg Mottola, our incredible director, was trying to like get everyone, and he allows improv. And I promise you, I'm going to shut up and let Annie talk. But I just have to say, I was watching this woman work, and I was cracking up and ruining the take because she would just light her joint and just have like, we were all in this ludicrous dinner that made absolute, like it was just bonkers and bananas. And she would just walk in with the dog, and the joint and look and just like do the zingers. And I was like, I can't with you. I was cracking up the whole time.
Well, thank you for saying it. But that scene was so much fun to shoot because of all the different personalities and characters in one room. I think the timing and the placing of each character, just made that one so much fun to do. And watching everybody, like you guys start arguing, and then, oh my God, it was, that was a fun.
Yeah.
Somebody had to break character. There has to be stories where you couldn't get through. So I need to hear these stories. What happened on set?
Well, certainly when the baby was around, and the baby immediately was like, Roy, you are my father. And fell in love with Roy. It was hard to act with him holding that sweet, sweet baby.
Yeah. And so then Jon is doing a lot of improv off of the baby to me. And then I'm getting defensive because I'm a father in real life. And in my head, I'm going, you just insulted my child. So now I'm going to insult you. And it's just this great back and forth while a baby is just sleeping on my chest. So yeah, there were definitely a lot of fun moments, but at the end of the day, I'm just thankful to be a part, because you have to understand, like in movies, it ain't always like this. Mm-hmm. You go to some movie sets and it's very much shut your mouth, read exactly what's on the paper the way it's read. I want you to read it the way I want you to read it, and that's it, and cut. Where, between Jon Hamm and our director, Greg Mottola, we got plenty of leeway to try things a lot of different ways. And I think that's where you find a lot of comedy. Sometimes it's, on the day, not on the page.
There were so many things that you kept, and there were things that you changed. And I know people are probably wondering what you guys decided to do. So what did you decide to keep, and what did you decide to change about the original?
I think, the fact that Fletch, it's baked into his DNA that he does not respect authority entirely. He doesn't really believe the institutions are getting the job done. So he will gladly break the law, run a scam, lie to people to get to the answers. He wants the truth. He wants the bad guy to get caught. He wants the world to be a little more right at the end of the story than it was. So he has a moral code. It's just the way he solves things is slightly different than everyone else. And I think there's real wish fulfillment of that. We all wish we could kind of do that and do it as easily and with such a breezy manner like Jon has, just so sort of casually, not give an F. And I think the character had that in the original Fletch, and that's in the books. And then the things we decided to change is, like, in the books, I started to realize Fletch really likes offbeat oddballs. He has a real affection for weirdos. So, like, Annie Mumolo's character, who's a bit of a kook, he really likes her, and he doesn't want her to turn out to be the murderer because he thinks she's an authentic person and she's cool. So, we leaned a little bit more into the weirdos around him, and played it maybe a little straighter in places and thought of it as sort of a comedy of manners, a little bit less slapstick and a little bit more about the characters and you know, the joy of watching Fletch get away with this stuff, even though he's not always right, because who wants to see Jon Hamm always be right? That would just be annoying.
Almost.
This stupid idiot moron has something to do with this.
You want me on the outside so I can solve this thing. Are you Fletcher? Yes, I am. Oh! I mean, no, I'm not. I always get that wrong.
I don't know who people hate more, cops or reporters.
It's cops.